Very good afternoon, students. Yes, I have shared a screen. Is it visible? Is it visible? Yes, anybody unmute yourself and tell me whether you can see the screen.
Yes, sir.
Okay, it may be a little bit blurry, but anyway, I will be explaining all the topics. So, any doubt you have, you can right away stop me and ask. Okay, so today we will be learning about three topics. First is the reflection coefficient. I am writing over here. You can see reflection coefficient, transmission coefficient, transmission coefficient, and the standing wave ratio or SWR. These are the three topics which we are going to cover in this class. Okay. And apart from that, there are involved numericals which we are going to see in the next class. Okay. So let us begin with it. So there are actually electromagnetic waves when it is incident on a particular surface. We have two phenomena. Either the wave can be transmitted through the surface or it can be reflected. And in general medium, both of this happens. That is, a portion of the wave is transmitted and a portion of it is reflected. Okay, so when a wave is going from one medium to another, two phenomena occurs. One is transmission of it, and the other one is reflection of it. Okay, now in your the wave can be incident at normal to the surface, or it can be incident at a particular angle to the surface. Okay, it can be either normally incident or obliquely incident on a particular surface. But in your syllabus, we only have the wave which is normally incident. Okay, between two dielectric surfaces. That is, both the surfaces are dielectrics and the wave is incident on the interface normally. Okay, so that we are going to discuss. So here a little figure is there. As you can see, we will be first discussing what that figure is saying, then going into deep. So over you can see as this is for normal incidence of the wave. Okay, so over here you can see this is the boundary surface. This line represents the boundary between two mediums. On the left side of the boundary there is medium 1, on the right side is the medium 2. The wave is traveling from medium 1, this is medium 1, this is medium 2. The wave is traveling from medium 1 to medium 2, and both the mediums are dielectrics. Okay, and they have the following properties. As you can see over here, the medium 1 has the property mu1, epsilon 1, and sigma 1, and eta 1. So you already know what are these quantities. Just the subscript 1 represents they are for medium 1. And medium 2 is having mu 2, epsilon 2, sigma 2, and eta 2 as the properties. The interface of the mediums, that is from 1 to 2, the interface is at z equal to 0. So along the positive z axis, we have medium 2. Along the negative z axis, we have medium 1. Okay, so this is the scenario. Now you can see one wave is shown like this. This is the incident wave actually. Okay, here it is written as transmitted, but just leave that. It is the incident wave. Incident. Okay, incident wave which is going here, and this wave you can see over here, it is the reflected wave. It is sorry, it is the transmitted wave. That is, it is going from medium 1 to medium 2. So it is being transmitted, and some portion of the incident wave will be reflected back in medium 1 itself. So that is represented by this one. Okay, this is how the diagram looks like. Now, all that is mentioned over here, medium 1 properties, medium 2 properties. Okay, now we are going to represent the subscript I for incident wave, the subscript R for reflected wave, and subscript T for transmitted wave. So accordingly, we will have incident electric field EI, incident magnetic field HI, reflected electric field ER, reflected magnetic field HR, uh, transmitted electric field ET, and transmitted magnetic field HT. So these are the general conventions which we are going to follow. And apart from that, when we are talking about medium 1, we are going to add in the subscript medium 1. And when we are talking about medium 2, we are going to add in the subscript medium 2. Okay. So now pay attention to this one. Over here, you can see medium 1 is having both incident as well as reflected wave, incident as well as reflected, but medium 2 is only having the transmitted wave. So we are writing over here E1, that is electric field in medium 1 is the summation of incident electric field and reflected electric field. As you can see over here, there is no transmitted electric field, only incident and reflected. So E1, that is electric field strength in medium 1, is incident plus reflected. Similarly, magnetic field strength in medium 1 is incident as well as reflected. Now, if we talk about medium 2, you can see over here, medium 2 is only having the transmitted wave. Okay. So, magnetic field strength and electric field strength in medium 2 are represented as E transmitted and H transmitted. As you can see, E2 is nothing but E transmitted ET, and H2 is nothing but H transmitted HT. Okay, now please pay attention to this point, that what we have talked about, that the electric field, magnetic field, and direction of propagation are actually perpendicular to each other. So if we have the electric field, let's say, here let me draw the electric field. Let's say electric field is along the x-axis, magnetic field is along the y-axis. Then the transmission, or we have talked about the power, is actually along the z-axis. Okay, now we have taken the z-axis as the interface, and the wave is traveling from negative z-axis to positive z-axis. So obviously, electric field and magnetic field will be perpendicular to that. If direction along the direction of propagation, neither electric field is there, neither magnetic field is there. Both are perpendicular to the direction of propagation. So at the interface, both electric and magnetic field will have only tangential components. They will never have normal components if the wave is along the z-axis. Okay, so they will never have the normal component along the interface. They will only have the tangential component along this interface z equal to 0. This point is very important. And also, we have already seen in boundary conditions that tangential components are continuous at the boundary. Okay, so yes, any doubts, you can please stop me and ask. If any unwanted noise comes in between, it will be recorded also, and when you see the recording, you will get disturbed by it. Okay, so if you have any questions, please stop me and ask. Okay. Okay, so at the boundary, we have E and H, which are tangential to the surface. So all the components which we are talking about is tangential only. Okay, now at the interface, these E1, E2, H1, H2, they are only tangential. So the E1 component, which is tangential, is equal to the E2 component, which is tangential. Similarly, the H1 component at the interface and H2 component at the interface, which is also tangential, are going to be equal. Please pay attention to this part. Okay. So only tangential components are there, and tangential components will be continuous across the boundary. So that's why we can write E1 equal to E2 and H1 equal to H2. So what we have got for E1, it is nothing but EI plus ER, that is incident plus reflected. And what we have got for H1, that is nothing but HI plus HR, that is incident wave plus reflected. And for the E2, we have only transmitted. For H2 also, we have only the transmitted. So if we equate both of them, what we are getting? We are getting two equations. That is, electric field incident plus electric field reflected is equal to electric field transmitted. And magnetic field incident plus reflected is equal to transmitted. Because the tangential component across the medium is equal. Okay, so this is the expression which we are getting. Okay, now we know that the ratio of electric field and magnetic field strength is given as eta. Eta is nothing but the intrinsic impedance. Okay, now the intrinsic impedance is dependent on the medium on which it is traveling. So when we convert between these two, if we have incident versus the incident electric field versus incident magnetic field, incident wave is only in the medium 1. So here it will be eta 1. So according to that, we can get the HI value as EI by eta 1. Similarly, if we go for the reflected wave is only in medium 1. So there also we are going to get this expression. Okay, but one difference over here is there, that you can see the reflected wave. Actually, I'm not going into detail of that. Electric and magnetic field will have 180 degree phase shift when it is reflected back. So that's why we are putting a negative sign over here. This is important. Okay. So when electric field gets reflected, there will be a negative sign when it is reflected back. For that, we are putting this minus sign. Now again, for the transmitted wave, you can see transmitted wave is only in medium 2. So there it will be having eta 2. And this is E transmitted, this is H transmitted. So H transmitted is nothing but E transmitted by eta 2. Okay. Now the value of HI, HR and HT that we got, if we put it in equation number 2. So equation number 2 gets transformed into EI by eta 1 minus ER by eta 1 equal to ET by eta 2. Okay, that is when we put these values in equation number 2. Okay, so let's give the transformed equation number 2 as equation number 3. Okay, now what we are doing over here, just modifying this expression. I am taking the incident eta 1 in this side. So you get EI equal to ER equal to eta 1 by eta 2 into eta t. Okay. So now let's say this is equation number, better let me give this one as equation number 3. Okay. So if this one is equation number 3 and we add up equation number 1 and equation number 3. So you can see over here, let me, so that all of it can be visible. You can see this is equation number 1 and this is equation number 3. Okay, now I am doing equation number 1 plus equation number 3. So the result is 2EI, ER gets cancelled out and we get 1 plus eta 1 by eta 2 into ET. So that is the expression which you are getting. Okay, this is 1. So if we add, we get this expression. Okay, now from here, we are modifying this expression and finally we are getting the ratio between ET and EI. So transmitted wave divided by the incident wave, that is called as the transmission coefficient, and it is given by the term tau. Okay, so tau represents the transmission coefficient, that is nothing but the ratio between the transmitted electric field to the incident electric field. So we are getting the expression of tau as twice eta 2 by eta 2 plus eta 1, where eta represents the uh, intrinsic wave impedance in medium 2 and medium 1 respectively. Okay, so this is called the expression for transmission coefficient. Similarly, we are going to derive the expression for reflection coefficient also, which is given as gamma lambda, this quantity, capital lambda. Okay, this is tau, this is capital lambda. That is nothing but the reflected wave versus the incident wave. That is the reflection coefficient. This is transmission. Now we are going to go for the reflection coefficient. So let us go into that. Any doubt you have, you can ask me right away. Okay. So this expression we are writing once again over here. EI plus ER equal to ET. EI plus ER equal to ET. That is the expression I am rewriting this once. Okay, let it be equation number 4. Okay, same equation because I am keeping it here, giving it as different name. EI plus ER equal to ET. Now also from here, equation number 3, what we have, EI minus ER equal to eta 1 by eta 2 ET. So that expression also I am writing over here. Just you can see over here. This is a little bit blurry. Any confusion, you can let me know. The equation number 3 is this one, EI minus ER equal to eta 1 by eta 2 ET. So that we have written over here, EI minus ER ET. Just eta 2 by eta 1, I have kept this side. Okay. Now, here in this expression, you have E transmitted equal to EI plus ER in equation number 4. So that value I am putting in equation number 5. So the transmitted wave is equal to EI plus ER. Okay, that I am putting in this expression. Now you have throughout only transmitted and reflected wave. So we have only incident and reflected wave. The transmitted wave we have removed from the equation. Okay, so now we are going to find out the relation between incident and reflected wave. So you can easily do these calculations, and finally the expression which we are getting is ER by EI. That is the reflected electric field by the incident electric field. That is called as the reflection coefficient given by this symbol. Okay, that is nothing but eta 2 minus eta 1 by eta 1 plus eta 2. This is called as the reflection coefficient. So we have got two expressions. One is the reflection coefficient, that is eta 2 minus eta 1 by eta 1 plus eta 2. And the other one is transmission coefficient, that is nothing but twice eta 2 by eta 2 plus eta 1, where eta is the intrinsic wave impedance in medium 1 and 2 respectively. So these two expressions are very important. Okay. So along with that, there are numericals over here given for it. The eta 1, eta 2 values will be given, or epsilon r values may be given. Mu epsilon values may be given, so that you can determine the value of eta 1 and eta 2. And finally, you have to find out the reflection coefficient and the transmission coefficient. That will be in the form of numericals. We'll come into numericals in the next class. So please pay attention and let us go into the next topic, that is called as the standing wave ratio, or SWR. Okay, so that is the next topic we are going to discuss. The formula which we have derived for reflection and transmission coefficient, that we are going to utilize in numerical in the next class. Okay, so formulas, the numericals will be pretty much straightforward, so don't worry about it. We are going to discuss it. So I am skipping this for now and going into standing wave ratio. Okay, now the term standing wave. What is the term standing wave? Just understand it. Standing waves are generally traveling. Traveling means it is going from one medium to either from one medium to another, or it is traveling within one medium itself. Okay, like that. We have found out the direction of transmission. Okay, but here we are talking about a wave which is not traveling, which is standing. The meaning of that is nothing but if a wave is confined between two surfaces, let's say it is going reflected back and it is continuously oscillating within two surfaces. That type of wave is called a standing wave. Okay. Now, when such type of wave is generated, just understand when a wave is confined between a conducting medium, the two sides are having conducting medium, and in between there is a free space or a dielectric medium. Then the wave, it can't pass. We have discussed about the concept of string depth. So electric or magnetic field can't penetrate much deeper into the skin of a metallic conductor. So we can say within a conductor, the electromagnetic field is zero, or it will be very less. It will be going just up to a skin surface. It will be decaying very fast, and we will not get a traveling wave inside a metallic conductor. So if a wave is confined between two metallic surfaces, we get a standing wave. Okay. So let us understand that. So when an electromagnetic wave is traveling in free space and are incident on a conducting medium, reflection of the wave takes place. Now, in this case, you know that it is not transmitted at all. Okay, because it can penetrate only up to a superficial surface or skin of the metal. So when it is coming from a free space and entering the interface between a metal, transmission coefficient will be zero. Why transmission coefficient is zero? Because no part of the wave will be transmitted through the metallic surface. Okay, so that's why transmission will be zero, and reflection coefficient will be -1 because the entire wave will be reflected back in opposite phase. So that's why when from free space to a metallic surface or from a dielectric medium to a metallic surface, if a wave travels, we get a standing wave where the transmission coefficient will be zero and the reflection coefficient will be -1. We can see that mathematically also. You can see over here, we have just now derived the expression of transmission coefficient as twice eta 2 by eta 1 plus eta 2, where eta 2 is the second medium, here it is metal, and eta 1 is the first medium. Here it is dielectric or free space. Now for metallic surface, eta will be zero. Okay, so if eta is zero, then if you put this expression, you are getting the transmission coefficient as zero. So nothing will be transmitted. Okay, now if we go for the reflection coefficient, that is tau eta equal to reflection coefficient equal to lambda 2 minus eta 2 minus eta 1 divided by eta 2 plus eta 1. Here, if you put the values of eta 2 as 0, you are getting minus eta 1 divided by eta 1. So eta 1 gets cancelled out and we get -1. So the reflection coefficient is -1. So the wave is completely reflected back. So because of the equivalence of both the amplitude and wavelength between the two oppositely moving waves, a standing wave is set up whose amplitude is 0 at the nodes at every n lambda by 2. Now let us understand the meaning of this. Just observe, a wave is traveling. Let me draw it properly so that you get an idea. One minute. Yeah. let's say a wave is traveling and interacting with the surface. Here we have metal. Okay, so it will be completely reflected back. So that this wave is reflected back and interact with the crest and trough of the incident wave. So what will happen, because the amplitude and wavelength of both the waves are exactly the same. So what will we get at the nodes when we will get maxima and minima at different nodes, because the amplitude and frequency of both the waves are exactly the same, both incident and reflected waves. So we are going to get maxima, that is the two wave amplitudes will add up at certain points, and we'll get minima, that is the two wave amplitudes are going to cancel out entirely at few points. So those are called minima points. So let us see where we are going to get the maxima point and where we are going to get the minima points. So over here, this is a proper diagram. You can see both incident and reflected wave are shown in here. Medium 2 is a conductor, medium 1 is the free space or a dielectric medium. So over here you can see at nodes lambda by 2, 2 lambda by 2, 3 lambda by 2, 4 lambda by 2, we are going to get minima points. Okay. So n lambda by 2 points, we are going to get minima points. So now let us define what is the standing wave ratio. It is nothing but it is the ratio of electric field intensities corresponding to maxima and minima. That is nothing but the ratio between Emax, where we are going to get maxima points, divided by Emin. The maximum amplitude divided by minimum amplitude is referred to as the standing wave ratio. Okay, now we are going to find out the expression of this quantity in terms of reflection coefficient. So that is our task. Okay, already we have seen what is reflection coefficient. We are going to determine the expression for SWR, or standing wave ratio, in terms of reflection coefficient. What is standing wave ratio? That is nothing but the ratio of maximum electric field amplitude to the minimum electric field amplitude of a standing wave. Okay, so let us see how we can get that. So the electric field traveling along the z direction is given as EI e to the power j omega t minus beta z. Here we have not put this quantity. Just remember the expression for electric field. There was a quantity called e to the power minus alpha z. And we have seen that for free space or dielectric free space medium, we have seen for free space and perfect dielectric medium, alpha we have got as 0. That is, there is no attenuation of the wave when it is traveling through either free space or a dielectric, perfect dielectric medium. So that's why e to the power gamma alpha z, where alpha has been considered as 0, so it is 1. So we have removed that term from here. So incident wave is only having e to the power j omega t minus beta z. That is only the phase component. So that is the incident wave traveling along the z direction. Okay. So I think we are coming to the end of this session. About 10 minutes are remaining anyway. So I think this part will be complete. Okay. So electric field traveling along the negative z direction will have a phase difference of delta. That is the negative z direction is the reflected wave. So whatever your incident wave is going along the positive z direction, and the reflected wave is along the negative z direction. Okay. So reflected wave will have the component same, exactly same, ER e to the power j omega t plus beta z. Just here the direction is opposite, so plus beta z. That is the only difference here. Along with that, there will be a phase difference. That phase difference has been represented as delta. Okay. Now, the total wave, that is the transmitted wave, is nothing but equal to the total wave over here is nothing but incident plus reflected. Okay, so that we are writing over here. The total wave in medium 1 is incident plus reflected. Now the reflected wave, we know already that the reflection coefficient is equal to ER by EI. From here, we can see ER is nothing but reflection coefficient times EI. That has been written over here. So we are putting this ER as reflection coefficient times EI. Okay. So we will have maximum amplitude. We are trying to determine the maxima. So we will have maximum amplitude when the phase of both of these quantities are maximum and they are equal. When we have maximum amplitude for a sinusoidal quantity, when the phase is 90 sinusoidal, and cosinusoidal we have when it is 0. So we are considering the sinusoidal form here that will not have the J term. Okay. So here we will take the maximum amplitude when the phases are maximum. Then the maximum, we are removing the phase from here, and the expression which we are getting over here is E max is equal to 1 plus reflection coefficient times the incident wave. 1 plus reflection coefficient times EI. We have considered the maximum value of e to the power j quantity to get the maxima. So E max is, we are going to get it as 1 plus reflection coefficient times EI. Okay. So where the maxima occurs, that we can get the expression as this Z max equal to 1 by 2 beta phi plus 2 n pi. I will discuss how we are getting this expression in the later class because we have timing constraint. So similarly, for the minima, we are just going to get 1 minus. You can see over here, to get the minima, EI minus, that is, they should be in opposite phase to each other. Incident and reflected wave should be opposite. Their amplitude should be cancelling each other. So E minimum we are going to get as E min equal to 1 by 1 minus reflection coefficient times EI. Okay, so E max, we are going to find it as 1 plus reflection coefficient. We are taking the magnitude of the reflection coefficient. Okay, because it is going to be a complex quantity, I am taking the magnitude. And E min, we are going to get as 1 minus the magnitude of reflection coefficient gamma, EI. So finally, we are going to get the standing wave ratio, SWR, which is given as the letter capital S as 1 plus gamma divided by 1 minus gamma. This is actually capital gamma. Okay. EI gets cancelled out. So the final expression which we are getting is S equal to 1 plus gamma by 1 minus gamma. Okay. The symbol is just like this. Like this. Okay. Okay. So you will get numericals from this expression and the expression for reflection and transmission coefficient, where the values of either eta will be given or the values of the constants mu, epsilon, etc. will be given. Okay. So next class, we are going to see more detail about this as well as the numericals. Thank you. Any doubts, you can let me know. So I am stopping the sharing over here and stopping the recording.